So we're back from our break and our, well, cliffhanger.
Welcome to the heart of the stories we tell. My name is Rob, and tonight I will be reviewing.
For Arrow, episode 10 of season 6, Divided. I totally see that the should have been Divided We Fall, because you know they're getting back together at some point, right? You know the whole team is going to be back together shortly, right? I mean, that's not really a spoiler. Every comic book team goes through this, and anyone who's read comics for any length of time knows and probably has complained about the forced nature of we're together, we're apart, we're together, we're apart of superhero teams. Sometimes they bring a villain in and change him to a good guy just to kind of spice things up. But in general, we have this big ongoing argument here on Arrow about what is and is not a vigilante. Okay, this is a vigilante, but I mean, at the end of the day, it's okay for him to use guns, but not for him, but it is for Wild Dog. She's a hacker, Caden James a hacker. I mean, there's a lot going on to unpack. Before we get into specifics, though, there are some of you that don't know what I do. What I do here is I examine stories, why we tell them, how we tell them. I review stories like this as they come up and do Throwback Thursdays every Thursdays and theory videos every Sunday. If that sounds interesting, click subscribe, because we're about to get foot deep into this episode of Arrow. Now, if you remember, before the mid-season break, Thea's back up and running because she's been down for the count ever since the explosion on Lian Yu. And we also have the new dynamic of Black Siren. Oh my god, I can't believe I almost forgot her name. Black Siren, and how it's messing with Lance's head. The fact that in her world, he died. And of course, the main showdown is Oliver Queen versus Caden James. And Caden James has put together a whole team. Yeah, I can't talk tonight. But let's throw this up there and get started with tonight's review.
So once again, it's stop. Spoiler time.
Okay, that didn't take long. Team Caden James is already going on the attack, and they're going after the Bertinelli family. You remember that family, right? They even give Huntress a little shout out. And I had heard a rumor that she was going to be back this season, so we're going to have to wait and see. But alright, in general, they're going after the Bertinelli turf, and the Bertinellis know this enough, and, well, the Bertinelli left, and he comes to Arrow for help. And now, this is where it gets interesting, because my very first thought when he comes to them is, Caden James isn't stupid. He knows the Bertinellis and Arrow have a history, and he also knows the enemy of my enemy is my friend. And as the episode played out, I was right. But you know what? I totally have to agree with Black Siren. That's probably a bad thing to say, but I am so sick and tired of people choosing not to kill him when they have the chance. Alright, just to recap here. Caden James has purposely set it up so that Oliver has no backup. Oliver didn't know about the bug until afterwards, so this is not some sort of master plan on his part. Caden James then assembles an entire team of evildoers, the Legion of Doom. No, they used that on Legends. Now, what's a lower the Legion of second string? Yeah, the Legion of second string villains, and they each have someone to fight on Team Arrow once Team Arrow is back together. But realistically, none of that matters because Caden James' plan involves not stopping Oliver. It also was pretty dangerous tipping their hand. They all show up just as Oliver gets there to showcase the fact that they really are Team Badass. Even Vigilante. And let's be honest, if they were going to hold anyone in reserve, it should have been him. It would have looked perfect if he showed up to help Oliver now that he was down. But I guess Caden James is a better master planner than me. I would have just been, I don't know, shoot him. Keep shooting him. Yeah. Anyway, we also have this entire sub-story where we don't know what's going on with Renee. He's going back and forth as to whether what he did was right or wrong. Him and Curtis have this whole conversation right around the time that his daughter's figuring out that he got fired from work, which I will just point out. After giving such a hard time for the legal battle was that the season finale? At the mid-season finale, I think so. Being unrealistic because of surprise witnesses. At least they paid lip service to some real law. You can't fire a whistleblower. It doesn't work like that. Well, unless you live where I live, which is an at-will work state, and then you just sit there and say, no, we didn't fire him because he was a whistleblower. His job just ended. Sorry, that's me just being pissy about some previous jobs. Alright, so, kudos to them for thinking that through. Bad for not actually coming up with a thing. They just really hung a lampshade on it. But Curtis is really the connecting tissue right now because he's also coming back into the Arrow Cave to help with Spartan and his tremors in his hands. And that's actually how they find out about the bug because of feedback. I don't know, insert technobabble here. Whatever. But him and Ollie have a little bit of a dramatic moment. And Felicity feels like at first she's being torn between them. But then I have to really say that I have to agree with the new Black Canary. Dinah's right. By the point of about the halfway point, her and Spartan are there, pointing fingers at everyone else for what their mistakes are. Everyone's kind of like just turned on each other. And it's just like stupid. Like these are all smart people that can talk and reason things out. But they have to all carry the idiot ball and just be aggravating just because they need the story to go on. Not a big fan of the whole breakup thing, but okay. The big moral of this story is Arrow can't work alone. But hey, remember, the Bertinelli family's involved, so maybe he can work with them. And of course, he can turn the bug back on Caden James, because now that they know about it and Caden doesn't know that they know. Oh god, I'm going to do a know that they know that they know. Nope, not knowing that. Anyway, the trick's a pretty simple one, and their plan is to draw out the whole team of bad guys into the open and stop them once and for all. Now, I don't know exactly how they plan to actually, justify the fact that the only way to stop them at this point is to kill them, or else they're all going to turn state's evidence against Ollie, because they all know his secret. I mean, it's almost like the whole who's a vigilante and who isn't, and when is it okay to kill, is one of those things that the show just doesn't want to address. But hey, speaking of vigilante, using his Wolverine-like healing factor, he totally lays the smackdown on Black Canary by ripping off part of his own hand in order to get her to lose the handcuffs, and then flips her. Because, one of the most badass fighters so far totally can just get owned in a single second. Kind of feel a little blah about that. But then she goes to where Curtis and Wild Dog are already having a conversation about the fact that they want to do something. And the plan is that maybe Caden James released information to the FBI. And you know what? Now that I think about it, is it possible the FBI's been in on this? That FBI agent could be working with Caden James, either through blackmail or whatever. Either way, the scene from the coming attractions from the mid-season break happens right then, almost at the end of the episode. And they form a new team. Wild Dog, Terrific, and Canary. Which leads us back to what Ollie said at the beginning. How can you work with people who you don't trust? And of course, the answer he comes up with is you cannot. But of course, the problem is that if there's two sets of superheroes, or even if they were only just running around individually as superheroes, they'd still end up working with the Arrow being vigilantes. And it's one of those things, you work with who you work with because you have to. If you're willing to work with the Bratva, if you're willing to work with the mob that Huntress was taking, the Bertinelli mob, but you're not willing to work with Wild Dog because he turned on you, what do you think the Bertinellis are going to do? I guess kind of by the end of the episode he's realized that, but then they're all like, oh no, we couldn't trust you out in the field. You're the one that betrayed us. And realistically, they have a point. Caden James didn't truly destroy the team. Their own actions in how they handle trust did. And the fact is that in the real world, when you break down trust, sometimes it never can be brought back. Sometimes you lose best friends or significant others, or even family members to it. The difference is that when you're part of a team and you're trying to look out for the greater good, sometimes you need to put your ego in the back seat. and I can't for the life of me imagine that Team Arrow won't. And they're going to by the end of the season. United, I'm sure. However, thanks to the chip, Diggle's back up and running as Spartan. Although I will just say, him flying around the T-Sphere and shocking people was pretty cool too. If we could just get cool T-Sphere stuff like that with Mr. Terrific, it would be great. Of all the characters I feel are underutilized, Curtis is definitely it. But all in all, I'm still sticking around. The Orville's not back for a while, so I'll be able to finish reviewing each episode of this season. And once Gotham's back, I'll put both up on Thursdays. However, just to be a little bit of a pain, I need to point out one other problem. Yeah, okay, Flash is in prison right now. Spoiler if you're not watching that show. But what about the rest of the superheroes? Yeah, Supergirl's on another Earth. He can't exactly call her. But, I mean, he could call Vibe, Killer Frost, half of Firestorm. I mean, if he really needs backup, how about Wally? Where's Wally right now? Wouldn't he or Vixen make a great force multiplier? A great way. In fact, bring both of them. Just bring Vixen and Wally onto the new Team Arrow. I know it's not going to happen, but okay. Those were my thoughts. I'm curious what you were thinking. Was there any part of the episode that I maybe put too much thought into or shouldn't have messed up so much? Let me know in the comments. And of course, if you could just do me the favor, like and share this video. YouTube's getting a lot more antsy about how many subscribers people have, so I could always use a new sub or two. And it really helps boost my channel, and as such, boost the whole community. Right now, I'm at just shy of 90 subscribers. When I hit 100, I'm going to give away an Amazon gift card. I want to hit 1,000 to be able to monetize again after February, but either way, I'd really love for you to join me as I walk through the heart of the stories we tell. I hope you have a good night, and thanks for watching.